Hey everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing another action figure review. Today, we're going to look at the McFarlane DC Multiverse DC Rebirth Deathstroke. Not only that, but this is the Frostbite edition, Gold Label, GameStop exclusive. I pre-ordered this guy from, you guessed it, GameStop, and it arrived today. So let's take a look at the packaging, which is pretty cool. It's done in sort of a semi-transparent blue, like it's a giant ice cube. At the top, Gold Label Collection. A Gold Label figure is simply a retailer exclusive. Whether we Target or Walmart, this particular Gold Label is a GameStop exclusive. DC, Deathstroke's logo, Deathstroke DC Rebirth Frostbite Edition. McFarlane Toys, GameStop exclusive, limited to 5,000 pieces. One side of the package, Deathstroke DC Rebirth Frostbite Edition. Other side is pretty blank. At the back, here's Deathstroke posed up from the Rebirth comics, and at the bottom, there's the barcode if that helps anybody. This is one of McFarlane's deluxe figures. Remove the outer sleeve, and then you have another bit of packaging that looks like a giant ice cube. Inside of that, you have the typical clamshell with Deathstroke. So with no further ado, let's open it up. And of course, I did get two of these Deathstroke figures. One of which to open and enjoy, the other one to keep unopened in my complete Batman-related unopened action figure collection. Alright, now that this figure out of the package, here he is with all his accessories laid out. We have a large display stand, a collector's card, a stand for the card, and then a knife and a sword. Before we take a look at all that, let's talk about and check out the figure. So this is Deathstroke from the Rebirth comics. But not only that, this is the Frostbite edition, cast in semi-transparent blue plastic and has sort of an ice frosted effect to him. It looks really cool, but leads you to ask the question, why does it even exist? I kind of understand why they made a Frostbite Batman. You could easily have Mr. Freeze freezing Batman, but then they did Joker, and it's even less likely for that to happen, and now they have Deathstroke. And it seems very unlikely for him to encounter Mr. Freeze and get frozen, which may or may not be the point of these figures. They do look cool, but I don't know, like I said, why does it even exist? So like I said, still a very cool looking figure. I believe the next one they're going to do is the Red Hood, and that one makes a little bit more sense as it's a good guy. Mr. Freeze is a bad guy. He usually freezes good guys instead of other bad guys, but things get very complex in the DC universe. Maybe Deathstroke here made a little snide remark about Nora Freeze, and bam, Freeze froze him. A lot of different scenarios I can make up here. But in the meantime, we have another Deathstroke variant, and he looks pretty cool. This is actually the second Rebirth Deathstroke. The first one is a regular version, and there's a third one upcoming, and that's the Page Puncher version that has the alternate unmasked head. So, let's focus on this figure and take a look at him. So, like I said, the effect comes out really good. They do an excellent job with these figures achieving what they sought out for, which is a Frostbite, sort of frosted over figure. Semi-transparent blue plastic with some white frost all over it. But below that, you have the actual Deathstroke sculpt. Can't really tell that he's missing one eye. Just can't really tell from this angle. On the back, he's got his little sort of bandana stuff hanging down. He's got a little sheath to hold a sword. You can see the different texturing on his outfit. Different parts, different texturing. Looks very good. He's got a belt here. A sheath to attach his knife on his ankle. Once again, different texturing all around the suit. It looks good. I like it. Double jointed elbows, double jointed knees. Like I said, I like it. I don't really know why they would choose Deathstroke for this design, but it's going to be a pretty cool thing to add to my Deathstroke shelf. And a closer look at his face and head sculpt. The sculpt is good, but it's kind of hard to tell what's going on with this plastic coloring. Deathstroke, the Terminator, Frozen. Now let's check out his accessories, starting off with the boring stuff. Here's his display stand. It's a large rectangular display stand, different than the usual one you get. It says DC on the top, and it's done in that semi-transparent blue plastic. Kind of hollow on the back. Here's his collector's card. As you can see, it's an image of Deathstroke from the Rebirth comics. Deathstroke, Frostbite Edition. On the back, we do have a certificate of authenticity. This is number 2,338 out of 5,000. Here is Frostbite Rebirth Deathstroke's collector's card on the left, next to the regular Deathstroke on the right. And this doesn't do much for me, but if you want to display your collector's card next to your figure, you have a stand to do so. Here's a look at his sword and knife. So, small little knife, nothing too spectacular going on here. Nice sculpting on the handle. Then we have a sword. This is Deathstroke's signature sword. I totally recognize that handle. It's looked the same for many, many years. And of course, these are both cast in that same sort of Frostbite color scheme. Here's Deathstroke holding that sword. Here's a look at Deathstroke holstering his sword. That little clip back there, it works, but doesn't work that good. And then here he is holding that knife. And then here, holstering that knife onto his ankle. So whenever they make action figures that are cast in a semi-transparent plastic, they usually react to black light, and it looks pretty cool. So I wanted to take my blacklight flashlight, hit up this guy, and just see what it looks like. Here's Deathstroke in a fully lit room without the blacklight. Then take the blacklight, and you can see, maybe it's a little bit too much on him, but it ends up looking pretty cool. He kind of glows. This is him in a fully lit room. And then here he is in a semi-lit room. And then here, with the blacklight on, in a completely dark room. It's like he's glowing. I like it. It's pretty cool. Now I want to check out the differences and reuse between this Frostbite Deathstroke and the original Rebirth version. And besides the obvious paint differences, it's 100% the same figure, same sculpt, same articulation. So let's take a look. Starting with their faces here. It's really hard to tell what's going on with this guy. The lack of paint loses some of the details. This one here, a little bit of black around the eye really adds a little bit of personality. He's got the sculpted lines around the head. And you can see him on this guy too, just different. You can see the different texturing is on different sort of colored parts of the suit. Whereas, it's kind of hard to tell on this guy. It all looks really good. They both do. Of course, I prefer this one considerably more than the other one. You can see the orange and the, I don't know, black or really dark blue. A little bit of white. And this guy, pretty much solid blue. Once again, different texturing. You can really see it on this guy more than him. It's kind of subtle when it's all black. The same sheath. Same on the back. Two very solid figures. This one is an excellent release. This one looks cool, but not nearly as excellent as the traditional version that you can use in most of your action figure displays and setups. And that gives us 3 different Deathstroke figures utilizing this base body. The Defiance white one on the far right shares the same arms, head, legs, but has a completely different torso. I forgot about that guy when I was talking about them at the beginning. There is a 4th one using this base body. That's the Page Puncher one with the unmasked head. That one is coming pretty soon. Now they've taken a pretty good look at the figure and his accessories. Let's check out his height. From bottom to the top of his head, standing around 7.2 inches tall, which can translate to just over 18 centimeters. And for his articulation, starting with his head, of course, you can rotate side to side. He can look up, not too much. Oh, there we go, freed up a little bit. Up and down, good amount. Can tilt his head from one side to the other. Shoulders on a ball joint, goes out about 90 degrees. Up, down, around. He's got the butterfly ring between his shoulder and chest area, increasing the range of motion and covering the giant gap that would be there. Bicep cut. Double jointed elbows. His wrist can rotate, and it's going to be hinged as well. Torso is a ball joint. Rotate around, forward and back. Another one in his waist. Rotate around, forward and back. Between the two, pretty good range of motion. I'd say you get a little more of the waist than the torso on this guy. Legs, complete as splits. McFarlane style hip joints. Rotation, it's decent. Legs go forward, about that far. A little bit more to the side. Back, not much. Double jointed knees. And then his ankle. Forward and back. Rotate. Tilt, rock, and of course, toe articulation. Here's Deathstroke in Mr. Freeze's lair, facing the consequences of his rude remarks toward Nora. Here's Deathstroke on a Gotham City roof. He's sniping his target. Say what you want about Deathstroke, he's just a mercenary that'll kill for the highest bidder. Meanwhile, out of Gotham City, back at his dojo, Deathstroke continues to train, perfect his body for the next kill. You can see the duffel bag full of money next to him. That was his reward for his Gotham City kill. Batman drops in, tells Slade, "You shouldn't have come to my city. I told you last time. Never again." Deathstroke pulls out his sword and gun. Batman and Deathstroke get ready for the fight of their lives. Batman has Damian Wayne Robin take the duffel bag full of money. No matter who wins the fight between Batman and Deathstroke, Deathstroke is going to lose. Now let's check them out. Next is some other action figures, starting off with some other Deathstroke figures. Here's the Frostbite Rebirth Deathstroke, next to the original version. And here, next to the Defiance version. Then, next to the Arkham Origins version, which is my favorite one that McFarlane has made. It's a look that is sort of modern, yet traditional, the way it looked in the Arkham games, or the Justice League movie, or the Arrow TV show. Here are all of the McFarlane DC Multiverse Deathstroke figures I've made. There are a total of 5 of them so far. When the Page Cruncher one comes out, there will be 6. And like I said, the Arkham Origins one is still my favorite. Although technically, these 2 Deathstroke figures were also released by McFarlane Toys. The one on the left is the DC Direct Deceased version, and the one on the right, the Superpowers version. Here he is, with all of my different DC Direct Deathstroke figures. They made quite a few and some really nice ones. I really like the Arrow version, the Arkham Origins version, and the Rebirth version. And here, next to the Mix Max Deathstroke. Then, with a couple of Mezco Deathstroke figures. And now, with my Mattel Deathstroke figures. Here he is, next to the amazing Yamaguchi Deathstroke. Here he is, next to a custom Slade Wilson in civilian attire. I made this with a wrestling figure and the Mezco unmasked head. And now, here he is, next to his daughter, Ravager. Here's a look at all of my different Deathstroke action figures. I believe I have all of them in the 6 and 7 inch scale. The next one to come out is going to be the McFarlane DC Multiverse Page Puncher version, and I'm looking forward to that one. Now let's check them out. Next to some other GameStop exclusive Frostbite figures, and they haven't made that many. At least not yet. Here he is, next to the Rebirth Batman. And here, next to the 3 Jokers, Comedian Joker. Here's the entire collection of McFarlane Frostbite figures. I believe the next one to come out is going to be Red Hood, and I'm just guessing it's going to be on the new 52 Red Hood body. Now let's check him out. Next to some other recently released McFarlane DC Multiverse figures. Here he is, next to the Batman Forever wave. Robin, Batman, Riddler, Two-Face, collect to build a Nightmare Bat. Here's Deathstroke, next to the most recent Platinum wave. Hugo Strange's Batman, Bullseye Batman, Batman Begins Lucius Fox, and Ben Affleck Batman from The Flash. And here he is, next to the most recent Batman wave. Both the regular and Platinum Chase variants of the Dick Grayson Batman, Adam West Batman, and the world's finest Fusion Batman Superman. Then, next to the 6th wave of McFarlane Collector's Edition figures, Red Hood, Clock King, Ragman, and both the regular and Platinum versions of Agent Liberty. There are Platinum Chase variants of each of these figures, and I'm on the hunt for Red Hood, Clock King, and Ragman. If anybody out there has a lead on where I'm able to get one for a resale price, or can possibly help me out, please drop me a line in the comments below. It is much appreciated. They're hitting GameStops across the US right now. And now, next to the Walmart exclusive Gold Label Vampire Shazam and Max Mercury, here's Deathstroke, next to the DC Classics Darkseid Mega figure. And here he is, next to the McFarlane Toy Store exclusive Patina variant of the Dark Knight Returns Armor Batman, and the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive Superman Centennial Park Tribute Statue. Then, next to the DC Rebirth Tim Drake Robin, and the Platinum and regular versions of the Cyborg Superman. And now, next to the previous Platinum wave, Sportsmaster, New 52 Reverse Flash, and Manhunter. And finally, next to the 2nd digital wave, Green Arrow, Superman, and the Atom. Now let's check them out, next to some action figures from different various companies, so we can see how he fits in, both scale and style-wise, in case you know which lines you can mix them with. Since he's a McFarlane toy, they're typically the 7 inch scale. I'm going to start off my comparisons with some of the large action figure lines I collect, and work my smaller. But first, let's check him out with some of his McFarlane Toys brothers. In front of you are 5 different action figure lines, all from McFarlane Toys, all 7 inch scale. And now, with some Jack-specific wrestling figures, and some Diamond Select toys, here's Frostbite Deathstroke, next to a bunch of ice cubes. And here he is, with some DC Direct and NECA figures. Then, with both some Mattel and Jazzwares wrestling figures. And now, with some Mezco and Mattel DC figures. Next, with some Mafex and Hasbro Marvel Legends. And finally, with some SH Figure Arts and Jazzwar's Fortnite figures. So overall, it's a cool Deathstroke figure. But once again, I ask the question, why would they choose this character to make a Frostbite edition? Just sort of mind-boggling to me. It does look really good for what they were going for. The figure is cast in semi-blue transparent plastic, and it has sort of a white wash over it, like it's iced over or Frostbite. The original Rebirth Deathstroke is a very nice figure, a modern Deathstroke. But this one, just kind of weird, and it does lose some of the detailing because of the odd paint job, but you can also see some of the texturing a little better on this version as well. The accessories are pretty cool. Sculpt, paint job, excellent. Articulation, also very good. But it's just not something you really need in your collection. Like I said, it looks good, but just don't understand why they would pick Deathstroke of all people. It's a popular figure, so maybe that's why. If I were to rate this guy, I'm going to give him a 6 out of 10, just because why does he even exist? I do like the variants, but I continue to ask myself that question over and over again. So this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say about the video, add to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll talk to you real soon.